Okay folks, welcome back. Video number 9 in our Wintermute playthrough series, and we are exactly where we left off. I've literally paused it, restarted it, and we are 10 seconds after the end of the last video as we move into this one. So we're going to carry on with what we said at the end of the last video. We're going to go and do a little bit of exploring. Before we go, let's just check that we're in decent condition. So let's take on board some food. Let's build our calorie store up a little bit because we are going to be using that. We've got enough water with us, we've got food with us. We haven't got much in the way of carrying capacity, but I really do want to try and take what I need to take with me. Let's see, I can probably ditch some of those tinder plugs though. So let's come over here and just ditch some of those tinder plugs. Don't need to be carrying quite so many of those. Let's drop probably 10 of them. Yeah, we've got extra tinder as well. We've got that. We've got cattails and things like that. So we're all in good shape. So let's freed up a little bit of extra weight. Oh yeah, there's some other things we can ditch as well. I didn't think. So we can drop lantern fuel. Is the lantern fully fueled? Let's refuel it. Okay, there we go. So the lantern is now fully fueled. So let's then ditch one of those. What's it? So we probably need to keep everything else though, but we can drop one of those cans of lantern fuel and pop it over here with the big can. And is there anything else we can ditch just before we leave? I don't think there is. I think we've probably got everything that we need. Okay, so we've got a few kilos carrying capacity, so let's head outside, because we need to try and find the food that we need for the Grey Mother, and I think to do that we're now going to have a look a little bit further afield outside of Milton and see what we find. So we're going to do that, and I've noticed there is a radio tower up there, and there is a little gap through the rock over there, look. So I'm going to head this way, and we're going to see what we can find, and we'll pick some sticks up on the way if we see them, because we need some firewood. Fire starting material. Let's keep going up the hill. See what's through this this gap here. I spotted it a couple of videos ago, if I'm completely honest, when we were walking up to the house, and I was a bit curious then what was up here, but I opted to stay on what we were planning to do rather than go off and do any exploring. So now seems like the time to come and have a look. Well, it brings us to an area that's got wolves in it. I have a feeling that the gas station is around to the side. So it doesn't lead upwards like I was kind of hoping it would. We've got some rose hips though, so we might as well harvest those whilst we're here. I am now sort of switching slightly more confidently into my normal mode for playing the long dark, of gathering everything and stashing it in a central location. That's kind of what I'm now doing. Okay, we've come into a clearing. There is a wolf in this clearing, so I'm a little bit nervy about, I don't want to tempt the wolf. I think that might actually be a limb that we can get some firewood from, so let's do that. Hopefully we won't attract the wolf while we're doing it. We haven't. Don't know where the wolf is. The wolf's there. Okay. I think what we're going to do then, there's a deer over there, there's a wolf over there.
Freezing.
We are freezing, so what we're going to do, we'll go back. I'm trying not to be my normal kind of slightly risk-taking self of sort of just jumping in with both feet and getting myself in a problem. I'm trying to be a bit more cautious with this, so I don't unnecessarily get myself into difficulties. So I'm not going to race away and battle a wolf and end up losing, particularly when my condition is already dropping because I'm at hypothermia risk. So I'm going to come back down, and we're going to we've come away with a few things there. We've got some firewood, and we've come away with a bit more information about what's around us. So let's go inside and let's see if we can just lose some of the stuff that we're carrying now. Say firewood. So if we haven't actually got that much, but we'll drop the 3 pieces that we have got. We did pick up some old man's beard as well, but we'll make use of that later. I'm actually carrying some scrap metal and other bits of rubbish that I don't need to be carrying, so let's get rid of that. Completely missed that bottom one. Let's get rid of that, and let's get rid of the cloth. We didn't be carrying all of that now. Let's get rid of the cured leather. We didn't be carrying that either. We'll keep the bandage. Okay, so rose hips, again, I'm just going to ditch for the time being. We'll get rid of those. Racy mushrooms I'm going to keep because I can give those to the Grey Mother. Right, so we haven't really achieved a great deal in this particular one. We're still at hypothermia risk. I don't really want to light a fire at this point because I don't really need to right now. But I equally don't want to be at hypothermia risk. I'd rather be warmed up. So I think I'm going to light a small fire. I use the cache as tinder and a book as fuel. Just a short fire, just to warm myself back up before I go back outside again. I think we're going to have to go and see if we can't hunt some rabbits. I think that's about my only option that's available to me at the moment. Is to go and hunt rabbits. To get the food that we need. And the benefit of that is it also gives me rabbit pelts, which give me a really good trust increase with the Grey Mother. Okay, so just a short fire. Let's chuck a bit of extra fuel on it. Tell you what we will do to help us along the way. We've got coffee, so let's cook it up and drink it. This is my age-old trick. The coffee trick. We're drinking hot coffee, so that gives us a boost to our stamina and our energy levels. It reduces our fatigue, and it also warms us up, so we don't get as cold as quickly. And of course, we can also take a torch, which will be even better, and it'll also help us get rid of wolves as we're travelling. So, in fact, we might. I really want to get down to that farmstead because I really want to know what it is. I was going to put the torch out, isn't it? It's windy. I'm in a bit of a. Oh, hang on a minute. There's a building up there. Now that is a building that I think I did spot, didn't I? And I mentioned it, but I thought it was one of the buildings in the main town, but it obviously isn't. It has blown my torch out. It obviously isn't. So this is a building that we've not been in. At least I don't think we have. So let's make our way over. I'm not going to walk across there. I don't want to fall through the ice. Let's have a crack at the rabbit hunt as well. See how we do. Well, that was a bit rubbish. It only works if you can actually hit the rabbit. And I can't. Okay, we'll worry about that later. Let's see if we can get into this house. There we go. So we've got a house on the hill up here that we can get into. I don't think we've been in here. So let's have a look what's in here. Probably nothing. That'll probably turn out to be a big anticlimax. Yep. Well, we've got some lamp fuel. So that's good. We've got more stacks of paper. I think I'm going to stop collecting those. Cave hidden cache note. Ooh. Supplies hidden under a pile of rocks in a cave near the radio tower. I don't trust anyone anymore. People are getting desperate. It's only been a few days since the power went out. I'm just going to stash some supplies in our special place above town, you know. Near where we look at the stars together, we may need them before help gets here. Okay, so there is a hidden cache that somebody has cached.
What do we have here?
Okay, I don't think I'm going to go exploring that hidden cache just yet. We're going to leave that for the moment. I don't think that's going to be any use to us. Okay, so not very much in this house, but at least we've made our way up here. We've found another location that we've not been in previously. It's quite high up as well, so hopefully we'll have a little bit of a view down. So that's the town. That, I think, is that kind of log sorting area where we popped down before. Or is it? No, that's where the gas station is. See, that's the radio tower. So there must be a cave up there near the radio tower somewhere. And what's this way? We've got a deer. Have we got anything else up here? There's that kind of farmstead down there. Okay. And then obviously the road heads out of the town. We don't know how far it is before we find anything else, so a little bit reluctant to go. Okay, that wolf there is stalking that deer. Now that is an option for us. So I think it's stalking that deer, or is it? No, I don't think it is actually. But it might do. That is an option for us. If we continue to seriously struggle. There was a bit of firewood there. It's a bit random. It's a bit of a whiteout over here. Coming this way, back into the town. Ooh, we're really going slowly because we're going straight into the wind. Okay. So the radio tower is up on the hill above us. There it is. So it's finding our way up to that radio tower. See if there's anything up there. Okay, we're walking straight into a headwind. That's why we're going so slowly, by the way, if anybody's wondering. The wind speed does affect you in the long dark. If it's really windy and you're walking straight into it, it will slow you right down. We have got a bit more food and we've got some more reishi mushrooms, so let's go and speak to the Grey Mother and see if we can't tip her over the 10,000 calorie threshold. Part of me is kind of thinking it might be worth doing that to advance to the next mission, even if it means that we're using a lot of our own food supply up. Because once we've got the next mission, we might have a better idea of where we can travel to. We might be able to go and find some more food. Plus, there's plenty of reishi mushrooms and things around if all else fails. In fact, the mushrooms may even work for the Grey Mother. We might be able to pop them into her fridge and they might count for something, I don't know. Or did we try that and it didn't? No, we tried that, didn't we? And it didn't work. So it's a trust thing, not a food thing. Okay, so we're nearly back at the house. Here we go. It's back inside the Grey Mother's house. Okay, what does that do to us? Oh, that's enough. Excellent. Okay. Perfect. We have got enough. So does that mean I can now speak to the Grey Mother?
So, you're all set for food and fuel. I'd like to hear what you know about my friend now.
Friend? Yeah, she passed through. Some people heard her. In the storm.
You already said that. Where did she go?
She passed through town. Too many closed doors, broken houses. Nowhere to run, to hide.
Why didn't anyone help her?
Yes. Why didn't they? They should have. They should have found her before it was too late.
Well, there we go. There's a bit of a story from the Grey Mother there. So, let's see what else she has to say. Okay, so she won't
Anything right now.
let us talk to the story. Try and talk to her after she's had some time to rest. Okay. Well, let's go away for a little bit then. Take care of our own needs for a while. It's a bit not great out here. I don't know how long we're going to have to leave this before we can go back and speak to her. I assume the missions will update when we're okay to go and talk to her. But right now, let's head back over to our own house. Let's get ourselves inside, out of the cold. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I had to take a phone call there, so if I was a little bit distracted when we were walking across to the building there, it is because my phone was going off and I had to take a phone call. So, sorry about that, but we are back here. We're in our house now. I have to admit, I also was slightly distracted when we were talking to the Grey Mother, so I wasn't really listening to what she was saying, but we know from our missions here that we've got to wait until she is a little bit more rested before we can go and talk to her again. Which means right now we're a little bit limited in what we can do, but we're going to take care of ourselves a little bit now by eating some of our food. And I'm trying to sort of think what we can go and do. I almost kind of want to go and do a little bit of exploration. Let's grab a little bit of the extra water. Probably just an extra litre. The weather outside is not seeming brilliant, but I don't really want to just stay bottled in here. I want to go and try and explore a little bit. It's not great out here, is it? But it's actually above freezing, which is really weird. Oh, it isn't now. Right, okay, so heading up there didn't actually take us up to the radio tower like we hoped. It took us into a wolf-infested clearing. There is, however, a road over here that does head up. So let's go this way and see what we find. Because there is a road over here that does go up, which I assume is going to take us towards the radio tower. It's a big assumption to make, but it's a fairly logical assumption that that's what's going to happen. So let's head up this road and see where we end up. Well, there's the radio tower, and we do seem to be heading up in that vague direction, so let's give this a try. We also know that there is a supply cache in a cave near the radio tower, so we've got to keep our eyes open for that cave. There's also a signpost up here as well. I wonder what this signpost says. Probably be werewolves as a wolf comes along and jumps at us. Ah, it actually says radio tower that way. It's a bit unusual for the long dark to give us signposts, but anyway, at least we know where we're going. What's the temperature like now? -3, so it's actually not too bad. It's quite nice. The wind's died down. We are heading towards the radio tower. So we're kind of doing a little bit of exploration now away from Milton. Oh, there's another deer carcass here. Got some sticks that we can pick up. Okay, so we're actually now heading into a new area that we haven't really explored that much of. Let's see if there's anything worth salvaging on here. Okay, it's going to take me 2 hours, but I can actually use the hatchet, which brings it down to 40 minutes. Let's take the hide as well. Oh, and of course we can quarter it. I completely forgot about that.
I've never been so hungry in my life.
That was something that was brought in with Faithful Cartographer, that you can now quarter carcasses and take the pieces away to harvest later. Just totally forgotten about that. Okay, let's go this way then. Heading up towards the radio tower. Now, I don't know what we're going to find at the radio tower. We can drop down there. I wonder if that's where the cave might be. Yes, there's a... I think that's a... Is that a cave? That does look like a cave. Okay, well, again, I'm a little uneasy about stealing somebody else's supplies, but... I suppose this is the long dark. I don't know if there's going to be a building up here for us. Some of these radio towers have a building, some of them don't. This one doesn't, so there isn't going to be very much up here by the looks of things. Oh, there is a dead dude. Is that a dead dude? I'll go over there and have a look in a minute. Fire log. Accelerant, work gloves, antiseptic, purification tablets, flare shelf, another fire log. That was worth having a look in. Got quite a lot of stuff there. We get a good outlook as well from up here. Let's pop to the edge because we'll hopefully be able to see what's what. So there's Milton down there, look. And that's the little farmstead over in that way. Gas station's down there. Can't climb the radio tower though. Okay, so let's go and have a look over here then at what we think is a dead dude. Arrowhead. Pork and beans. Feather. Thank you, my friend. So, let's go back to the cave then. Now we know the cave is probably going to be good for us to shelter in, but also we know that there is potentially a supply cache in the cave. And of course there is also potentially going to be an NPC in the cave. You never know. You never know. There may be an NPC in the cave. Pretty cool if there is. Somebody else for us to interact with. This doesn't look like this is an interior location. This is one of the semi-interior locations. Unless this is not the right cave. Although we know it's hidden under a pile of rocks. There's some coal. So we want the coal. Have I accidentally crouched? No, I haven't. I'm just over encumbered. Slowing me down. Okay, we know under a pile of rocks. Now that looks slightly different to the rest of the scene, so by a logical process of elimination, this is the pile of rocks. An MRE, tablets, an ear wrap, flare. Oh, someone actually very much there. So that was a side quest. Milton supply caches. In anticipation of something about happening, some interested hit supply caches around the town. Find the notes, supply directions to the caches. So that is a side quest. I'll start calling them quests, Fallout 4 style. So it's a side mission. I don't think it's really bad that we're taking these things, because ultimately everybody has left the town. And you would logically think they're not going to come back. So I don't see it as being particularly bad that we are taking these things. That's all raw, isn't it? Let's eat the salty crackers then. That'll give us just a little bit. Okay, so let's make our way. Let's pick some stones up though, because I don't know how many I've got in my inventory. So let's pick a couple up. Let's make our way back down to our house. So we've been to the radio tower. We didn't find very much. We've been to the cave, which gives me the supply cache. There must be other supply caches hidden around Milton, but we haven't really... I mean, it seems that we've explored the whole of Milton, but I am starting to wonder if there's more to it than meets the eye, whether we haven't really explored all of it at all. And there are sections of it that it's spread out further away, and we haven't really found them yet. Okay, well, we've warmed ourselves up, so let's pick up... Oh, we picked up the hide. Oh, in that case, then, let's not bother. We've already done the hide, I forgot that. Okay. Don't think we can go that way. Can we go that way? Doesn't look like it. There's a world-famous gnarly tree. But it's not really pointing us anywhere, so let's head back this way. Keep an eye open for this ice. Hopefully it won't fall through. We've got some cattails, so we'll pick up the cattails. Or at least a couple of them. It's good to have.
Carry this load for much longer.
We are pretty heavily encumbered. Let's see if we can get this rabbit. Well, we at least vaguely had it heading in the right direction this time. Slight improvement.
All this gear is slowing me down.
Okay, how badly encumbered are we? How over the top are we? Oh, we're about 10 kilos over. In fact, no, we're nearly. Yeah, we're 10 kilos. Oh, that's not the way. Where'd that rabbit go? Oh, it's there. No point stunning it there, because we won't be able to collect it. Where did we go? How do we get down? Help, I'm lost. Which way was it? Can we get this rabbit? Well, that was helpful. I've run out of stones now. I think it was down here, isn't it? I've completely missed. I've run out of stones. Opportunity, I've run out of stones. Okay, let's head back down then to the base, and then we'll wrap it up for this video. So apologies for the slight interruption there in mid-video. There, these things happen occasionally when you're recording these things. You can't always have a completely uninterrupted workflow. Some calls just have to be taken. We're gonna head down, but I'm pretty happy with our progress so far. We're in story mode. I'm kind of hoping we can start to head out of Milton fairly soon. And we can. Yeah, that's not a problem. We're heading back down now. Let's drop back down here into the main town. I should really have used that house as my base rather than the bank manager's house, because it's a little bit out of the way, but never mind. Okay, so let's drop back into the bank manager's house, and we shall wrap things up for this video. We're rapidly playing through the story mode of Long Dark. I know some people have probably got much further along than I have at this point, but we're not in a rush. We're taking it easy. So our current mission then is to wait for the Grey Mother to feel more rested so that we can speak to her. We can't go... Oh, we have got a map! Well, that's really rather annoying. I didn't realise that. I just assumed we didn't. Okay, well, there's our plane crash. There's a cave. That's the cave with the supply cache, I suspect. There's a bridge. Spruce Falls Bridge. There's the church. So we came down here somewhere, across that bridge, around here to the church. We then came here to Milton House, which is the Grey Mother's house. And and we came down here, there's the Orca gas station, and then the map starts to get a little bit fuzzy around the edges. There's the shortwave tower, and there's the gas station. So the road just seems to disappear at that point. So I'm not really sure where that road is going to go, or where we're going to end up travelling to. So I think we are kind of limited into this area at the moment until the Grey Mother gives us something to help us move on. We are kind of limited to this area, but there must be a way of getting out of it. But we can still explore the whole area, and I dare say there's bits and pieces that we haven't come across yet. So can we get into the main journal? Because I kind of want to see my stats and things, which I haven't really... The journal has kind of changed a little bit with this. There's no stats or anything, probably because we're not in survival mode. The stats are slightly different. But yeah, we'll see if we can catch up. I don't even know what day of survival we're on, because it doesn't tell us. I don't know whether that really is a goal in this mode. But anyway, right, so we are waiting on the Grey Mother then before we can progress much further. So I am going to say until the next video, thank you very much for watching. Sorry this one's been a little bit ad hoc and a little bit disturbed, but hopefully next time we can get back on track. We'll continue with the Grey Mother, try and move down the storyline, and hopefully we can start making some progress. Get out of Milton, get on Aurora's trail, and meet some other NPCs, because so far the Grey Mother's the only one we've met. But for now, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again very, very soon.